Okay, Happy New Year and welcome to this January class. So I want you to take out your nights. So we're going to do a little bit on the nights, and I want you to take out your last 10 major arcana cards. So let me help you. You want to look for the Justice card. Oh, Justice. The Hanged Man. And we want to put them in order too. And Death. We also have Temperance. And the Devil. How weird is that, hey? The Temperance in between Death and the Devil? What was Mr. Waite thinking? I would love to see inside his mind. Okay. Got the Devil there. And then we want the Tower. Wow, it's almost like a fairy tale, these cards lining up. After the Star and the Moon. So we have the Star, the Moon, and then the Sun. And then Judgment Day in the World. So you don't have to have them all right up right now, but keep looking as I'm talking. Whoa, my candle just popped. Oh, that's awesome. All of a sudden I feel like I can talk. Probably residue for my readings. I gotta light this up again if it's popping. I like to smudge before people come or before my reading. And then I make sure I leave my space or my office. And then when I'm going to perform my reading, I come into my space. And when I come into my space, that's when I take note on how the room feels. Has it changed since I've been in there? Am I walking into warm air or cool air? Right? Does my body feel different? Because you will pick up ailments of your client, or you'll pick up ailments of the spirit that's around them. And that's why I like to smudge my room, leave. Even when I did readings in person, I would always make sure they sat in my tarot room for a few minutes by themselves. And it's because when I walk in, I can feel everything that I feel is not of mine, right? We walked into a room, you can feel it. And I want you to practice that through this month. Whenever you walk into a room, even if it's kitchen to living room, someone's house, a store, and when you walk in, try to take note on how that room feels. Okay? And you'll be able to connect with spirit a lot easier. So I hope you have your nights out. And if you don't, that's okay. But we're going to do the nights before we do other things. But it is a new year, so we're definitely going to be doing some readings. And I'm excited because I have waited to pull my New Year's cards, like certain ones that I want to do with you in the class. Yes, I've pulled cards about other stuff, but this stuff, I had to wait for you guys. So let's see how our year is going to go tonight too. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is I know that some of you are putting yourselves out there. That is so awesome and exciting. And you can keep doing it. And some of you are coming close to the end of the class. And it doesn't matter if you're at the end or at the beginning. If you're in this group, you can jump in anytime, partake in the practices as well. And I do have more layouts that I am going to put up. So from this point, because we are now going into the nights and the last 10 major arcana cards, I want to go into more difficult readings and kind of move you into being able to recognize the message in certain layouts. Okay. So first thing I want to do is, last 10 major arcana cards. And when you have them all laid out, I want you to realize that from Justice to the World card, all of these represent not just the destiny of the major arcanas, but they represent higher powers. Like as humans, this is where we receive our superpowers. And I mean, there is this, a lot of people in life won't accomplish these superpowers. So imagine our physical self and our spiritual self. Well, 11 to 21 represents the spiritual self and that aspect of life. So where do I want to begin? Well, let's start with the nights. So the night videos are going to be posted starting tomorrow. And if you have them laid out, take a look at them in front of you, because the nights are really important in tarot. Just like the aces, they are the most significant in the major arcana card. The knights are the most significant when it comes to representing the most influence. So knights represent the most influence of all of the court cards. So when you're doing a reading and a knight shows up, there's the power of the most influence. So the knight cards will also still represent people. Usually they represent young men between the ages of 18 and 35, but that's approximate. So there are some exceptions. Sometimes the adolescent is more mature for his age, or maybe it's an older man who is youthful and energetic. And if it is an older man, then this represents new changes in his life. So remember that for the knight cards in any reading, the knights represent young thinking and action. So if you're reading for a woman or you're reading for yourself and you get a knight in your reading, then there's some kind of action. And usually this action that's taking place in our life is represented by a male. So you want to pay attention to the suit the male represents. And that male does not have to be your husband. It does not have to be, someone you're in a relationship with. It can represent any male and any circumstance in life. I lost you. Where are we? Okay. Hello. Okay, there you go. So keep that in mind. Okay. Welcome. I got your notification. You're going to be late. Happy New Year's. Just take out your nights. We're just getting started on it. Okay. So what I was just saying is that the nights Also, we talked about represented young men between the ages of 18 and 35, but they can also be a mature man with a young thought in action, making changes in his life, or it could be a young man that's more mature. But for most and all readings, you always want the knight to represent thinking or actions. Okay. So if I'm doing a reading for myself and I get a knight, then I know there's some kind of action that's going to take place linked with a male. Okay. And it doesn't have to be relationship. Okay. So maybe you're expecting someone to contact you about your taxes. The Knight of Swords could come up. Okay. So the suit of the knight belongs and is there to show you the character and the personality that we're going to be dealing with. Or maybe the knight comes up as a quality that you're connecting to, right? So you want to take note. If there's a knight, that's the influence. That's the key of the reading. Now,
I think we're having a hard time to hear you. It's really choppy on my end.
oh, okay, let me see. Brett's gonna grab a mic and see if that'll help. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's sometimes like I can hear you and then it kind of fades off and it comes back in. So it's kind of like I hear some words, most words, but then there's a little bit missed.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that's everybody. So I put it in the chat and I heard 3 other people same thing.
Yeah, I see it
Yeah,
now.
it seems like it's the internet connection.
Yeah, I do see that I'm got a 2-bar here.
Yeah, it's showing yellow on your status here, so.
I'm gonna see if this mic will help. Okay. It's probably because of the weather. Let's see if that helps. Unplug anything else that's on.
Yes.
Okay. Does that help?
I guess we'll see as you talk. We'll start to, maybe I'll wave if you become choppy.
Let me see. I just want to see if this is, how does that work? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
that seems better for me.
perfect.
Do you have good service? Does it show good bars?
Oh, no. Just wave and then I'll know.
Okay.
And you'll make sure all the doors are open?
Yeah.
And you can't go on the internet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we'll try this. Hopefully the recording isn't messed up, but we'll find out. Okay, so we were at the knights. Okay, let's see. So we were at recognizing that the knight belongs to the character or the personality that is being expressing in the connection to the readings. Okay. And reversed knights show characters and qualities that are in play that could represent the next male that's coming around them. So it's usually a family member or a direction that is manifesting on the path. And I'll get more into that with the videos. So I don't want to go too far into it. I just want to talk about how the knights are one of the most significant cards to let you know what influence is in place. So, for example, if the seeker is a male card, the knights are going to represent him, okay, usually. If the seeker is a female, then the card is going to represent an action that needs to be taken, but it comes upon and represented by a male. So they are being prepared for an interaction. Okay, so single women, if you're doing readings and the Knight of Cups keeps appearing, there is actions that represent a male that wants to come forward. So you want to take note, right? Cups would represent a male of emotion and hearts, right? And usually that will represent and signify a relationship. Now, if the Knight of Cups comes up and someone's like, oh, I want to know about my love life, and the Knight of Cups comes up, that lets me know there is a male entering their life, or wherever the Knight card sits in the reading, right? It could be happening now. I will still pull 3 cards about the Knight, because the Knight of Cups will trigger a new relationship, but it's not always just the characteristic. So I'll be like, okay, I see a knight coming in 3 months. I see a male coming into your life. It looks like it is a significant relationship. So I want to pull 3 cards on what that's about. And then I'll pull 3 cards to try to get the characteristic. So all of a sudden, if the male comes up and it's like dark hair, then there is the appearance. So with the Knight of Cups, pull 3 more cards to get the actual appearance of the person coming into their life. Okay. What else do I want to say? So a lot of times males will come up in our own life as a certain suit for you. And so we want to understand what suit, what knight comes up as your partner, as your son, okay? And then take it further and go into what king, even though we're not at kings yet, what king is coming up for your father, right? Just by picking the suits, okay? And you'll be able to, the reason why we want to do that is because you'll be able to understand the personality of your partner. You'll be able to understand their character and what's in play from that influencing your path. So say you get a knight in a woman's reading, or actually, let's say you get a Knight of Swords reversed in a woman's reading. And it's in the higher self placement, which in the Celtic cross layout, which we're going to build up to, is the message the higher self wants you to know. Okay. So this placement represents the attitude of the question asked. And the Knight of Swords reversed would indicate a man on her mind, but it would also show concern about him being commanding or even maybe cruel towards her. So for women, we will be, if we're in a difficult position when it comes to a male, knights and kings will be reversed. And that's a message. And a lot of times we get women that come to us because they're unhappy in their relationship, or they're in a situation. They want to know, most women are wanting some kind of confirmation on what path they should take, right? And so if you see reversed kings and knights, just take a second, look at the other cards and understand that there might be something that is upsetting in her life. So if the Knight of Swords showed up in her reading in her immediate future, then he may leave the situation suddenly or display qualities of cruelty or controlling. So you would want to look at the knight and then make sure you look at the next card. And if it's an ugly card, then you want to make sure you pull more cards on what she needs to do, what guidance is there for her. Another example, if the Knight of Wands appears, then a young man with the qualities of ambition and positive outlook could be helping her situation in the present. So many times knights can represent someone's son, or it can represent a new male connection, even a love connection. So whenever a knight comes in, I usually like to feel it out. Okay, is this someone that is meant to be in a personal relationship? Or is it an outside influence coming into their life, right? So pay attention to the suits of the knights and then you'll have the influence. Now, when you take a look at them all up in front of you, you'll see which direction each knight is going, right? So the Knight of Wands is past. So they're going to be triggering something from the past. The Knight of Cups is moving forward as well as the Pentacle. So there is something there that's exciting, right? It's new. It's leading you forward. And then you have the Knight of Swords. Okay. When that comes up, and you know what? When it comes up and I see that in someone's reading, and that's how I feel, I'll express it. Okay. And, you know, when you're doing readings for yourself or others, you will get more confident to just say it as it is. Just be raw, just be realistic. You don't need to sugarcoat anything. But the Knight of Swords is usually something that I'm not happy about when it comes up, because it shows that you have to deal with someone else's influence. It takes you off of your own direction. And it's usually triggered by past actions. So remember that the knights have two basic categories of the interpretation. The first and the main category is the character. The second is the occasion or the event that is coming up. So knights always represent an event coming up. And most often, the knight indicates a person and their character involved in this life and the influence that's coming to them. Okay, so I want to see how the knights play out through this month. Like I said, I'll post the night videos for you tomorrow. And while you're listening to the page videos, kind of take note on when you were a kid, which page, right? Which page were you? And what page is your daughter or your son? Start putting people into the characteristics of the knights and the pages. Okay, so now we're on to the last 10 major arcana cards. So I want you to take a look at them, because these ones are, I think, pretty intense when you learn about them. So I want to do a quick review on the major arcanas, because I know we're going to do all the videos, but I kind of want you to get started on them, and I don't want you to wait. So some of you have the journals. I hope you started them. And I know a couple of you have started using it for actual readings that you're doing on and for other people. So that's really cool. And if you haven't gotten your journals yet, make sure you listen to last month's video and connect with me because you get a tarot journal. Okay. And I'll mail it to you or pick it up or yeah, deliver it, whatever. Okay, so let's go through first, before we get to the last 10, let's go just through a short interpretation of all of the major Arcana cards. And I'll make sure I tag the video on it so that it shows all of the major, just so you don't have to wait. So let's start with, the Fool. Okay, I was just going to start with the Magician because I usually interpret the Fool, even though it's a new beginning, I like to interpret the Fool as the card that comes also after the World. Okay, so whenever the World card comes up, you're usually getting prepared for the Fool. Okay, so let's start with the Fool. So the Fool always represents a new cycle, and it always represents an idea to carry forward. So anytime you're doing a reading and someone is asking about a business or a course or something to start and the Fool comes up, it's amazing. And the Fool also represents swiftness. Like you know that freedom when you feel all excited about starting new, you see the vision of the painting and it's like, okay, I'm going to paint that. And then halfway through, you're like, oh my frick, why did I even get started on that thing? It's going to take forever. I mean, there's the Fool, the excitement of that new beginning, right? And we actually start something new every day, every month. So the Fool is always in play in our life. And once we receive that idea, once we collect the energy of who we are and the new beginning, that's when we conjure the power of the Magician. So the Magician actually represents the will, the idea now going into action. And that's why people who practice tarot not just use it for readings, but we use it to consult what we want. So if I'm going to waste my time on a class, I always make sure that my cards are saying, do it. They're not showing, don't do it, right? Or if I want to go on a trip or open my store or close my store, whatever it is. So we will consult to get to that best possible outcome. And even if I ask, should I buy this house? And I don't see the answer I want, I'll keep asking until I see the road that I need to travel to get to that outcome. And I'll keep going and I'll keep going until I got the picture of how to do it. And I love it. So the Magician is the conjurer. Whenever you see the Magician in your readings, there is something that your will needs to bring into your life. It's focused and it has magic at work. I love it when the Magician comes up. I know that every aspect of life, the finances, the heart, the body, the emotions, the decision, they're all balanced together. All the tools are there and ready for the magic to happen. And when the Magician comes up reversed, then it usually represents betrayal. I mean, and that's huge. So I'll ask, okay, well, there is some kind of energy that is a betrayal energy. There's illusions. Pull 3 cards. Is it a person? Is it yourself? Right? Is it a situation? The High Priestess always represents knowledge beyond intuition. So as soon as I see the high priestess, I know, tap into my intuition and go beyond it and connect to spirit. So there's hidden wisdom. If you're doing a reading for yourself or anybody else, and that high priestess comes on, there is hidden wisdom. Now you need to pay attention. What does spirit want? You're the priestess. You're the one that spirit is using to bring hidden knowledge into this reading. And the more the high priestess comes up in your readings through the year, the more powerful you will become. So for example, I want you to try something. Okay, so let's see. We have these cards out. What's a good one to pick? Let's not do the devil. That'd be bad. Let's pull up the star. So grab the star card. Actually, wait. It is the 11th. Let's do the justice. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So grab your justice card. And it's the next one we're going to be learning about anyway. And I want you to just kind of take a look at it. And whenever you look at the cards, you can see the justice is quite easy. I want you to focus about right in here on every single card you read this month. This little square. Imagine each card has its own frame. And just look at it, hold it in front of you and look at it for a minute. Take note on what you see. So when you're looking at this card is a subconscious gateway. Okay, every single tarot is a portal of power. If you think a Ouija board is scary, each one of these cards is a spirit board. So when we are doing a reading, as soon as we flip them up, that portal of power is in play. And it's like all of a sudden, there it is with the message. I love it. They're like dragons to me. So take a look at your card for a couple minutes, breathe through your mouth. And now I want you to take that card face up to you and put it in your left hand. Anyway, just so it's comfortable, and hold it for a second, but look at it. And you're looking at the card. And then after a few minutes, I want you to turn the card over so that now justice is in the palm of your hand. And just make sure you're comfortable. And you should be able to feel a difference from the both sides of the card. If you don't, turn the card over again, left hand, and feel it. And then after you know what that feels like, turn it over, face down, and feel it. One side should be warmer than the other if it's active in your life. So if you were able to feel that energy, put yes. And so, nice. So when you feel that, that energy is actually showing you you're in play. So if I want to go and gamble, I can use the Wheel of Fortune card or the world and activate it. Okay. So each one of these is a spiritual power that we can call upon. And that's why they were created. They weren't just created so that we can see our fortune. They were created as powers. And back then, when these were all created, these were all known as spirits that people would call upon. Up until the 11th card, all of the spirits that we call upon represent personal self-transformation, where this represents supernatural abilities that we can call upon, like genies. And these are the ones I call upon. I love it. So I'm going to get back to a little bit down. So face down was warmer. Okay. And so if it was face down, then there is a breakthrough happening. Justice is in play for you. And that's how you want to know that medicine or activate it. You can activate it that way and have it sitting on your table all day. Right? So yeah, it's good. Yes, and thank God, because we're going to go into justice in a minute. So high priestess is your high priestess power. It's that ancient sacredness of tapping into the world. And if I'm doing a reading and that my client gets a high priestess, I know that she is being activated with a sacred power. And so to me, anytime I have a reading and someone's got a high priestess card, I'm like, ooh, like you should, do some magic with me. It's exciting. It's like that common connection. The Empress card, whenever the Empress card comes up, there's generosity, that feeling of motherhood, but there's creativity that's leading to growth. So we are meant to have a little bit of extra energy. Okay. The Emperor is the father figure. Okay. So positive force of power and someone that is bringing us power through when we're dealing with obstacles. And you'll find that if you have a challenge and you pull cards on it, you'll probably get the Emperor. So to me, the Emperor is protecting and trying to bring solution. And if the Emperor usually to me in readings represents a male ancestor, male guardian, I find that for me, the Emperor represents a spirit on the father side of the family, where the Empress will represent the mother side of the family. And that will also confirm if any kings come up for the dad or any queens for the Empress. Okay. If I do a reading and the Emperor is there and I get the Emperor and the Queen, then I know then it's mother side of the family. So what other court card comes up with the Emperor or the Empress? And that will also give you a key to the spirits that are around. Hierophant represents education and tradition. So if you want to be like, hey, I'm going to come out of the closet about something, and the Hierophant comes up, I'd be like, okay, timing is not quite right. I'm going to wait. When should I do it? And pull 3 cards. So whenever I get the Hierophant, I usually know I have to be traditional, right? I can't let them know, that I'm a mystic, like I just keep hush hush. It's like the society life, right? It also represents a high priest. So a lot of times the Hierophant will come into our readings when there is some kind of obligation. So for us, obligation is the key. Okay. And that's how you choose your path, whether that path is right for you or you're doing it to appease others. The Lovers is always partnership. It always represents love, but it represents decisions. So a lot of times when the Lovers comes up in a reading, It's not always just your soulmate or a relationship. It means that you both have some kind of decision that you need to make together. And that's going to influence your relationship. And there's a divine power in that, whether it is something that we're both going to agree on or we're going to do something together. Sometimes it's simple compromise. Sometimes it's like, hey, lady, you need to compromise because you're overstepping. Okay, so take a look. When the lovers are coming up, what court cards are coming up? If you got a woman that's showing up as a queen and you have let's say a knight showing up, you know, the woman probably has more power in that relationship. So you want to take a look at the suits that's coming up for the male and the female. The strength or the lovers we were at. So the Chariot, we were talking about compromise. So sometimes the relationship could be something you're agreeing on, but the Chariot always represents compromise for victory. Okay, so there's that transformation. The Chariot comes up, transformation's taking place, compromise, be patient, let yourself go. Okay. So personal transformation that's moving you into a new direction. What I love about the Chariot is the Chariot is holding the star. He's wearing the star, and they both have that 8-pointed star. Okay. So Strength card is also discipline. And whenever the Strength card comes up, there's chaos and something that needs to be tamed, whether it is a situation, a person, or an energy. So to me, the Strength card means that once you've tamed it, you will receive the blessing from it, and it won't go untamed again. So it's like finally you cross that bridge and you don't have to worry about a bumpy ride anymore. So strength is being disciplined, using your strength of mind, keep moving forward. There is success through willpower. So the 2 willpower cards were the Magician and now the Strength. And this strength is eternal strength. So once you're able to receive that strength in the Strength card, you can call upon it whenever you want or whenever you need to. Now we have the Hermit. Whenever the Hermit comes up, there's wisdom, but it has to do with wisdom that comes from silence. So whenever the Hermit comes up for me, I always know I need to make sure I take my time. I'll actually go sit, look at my view, and wait for the information to come. So Hermit always means there's some kind of wisdom that's waiting to come. It also means kindness, and it's a checking point. So whenever the Hermit comes, it's like, yes, my spirit guide's waiting for that bonus. Right? And it's look for where the Hermit is. If it's ahead of you, the spirit is waiting on your path in your future. And I like that because it's always showing the future, right? Like there's something to attain. So it represents attainment. And what you receive is given to you from the spirit. And of course, once you attain something from the spirit, your life is blessed. The next card is the Wheel of Fortune. And that Wheel of Fortune represents good luck. It represents turning things into goodness. That's the power. So if you are doing a reading about a challenge and the Wheel of Fortune comes up, it doesn't mean always that you're just going to burst through the challenge. But what it does mean is that you were able to turn that challenge into the power of good. There was a skill. You honed the energy. Okay. And for me, that's why the Wheel of Fortune to me represents luck. If I get the Wheel of Fortune, I don't care. I am gambling. I love it. But it also has taught me that you can feel lucky, and I can hone in on that luck and ride that energy, but that energy doesn't stick, right? So for example, I get the Wheel of Fortune. Now I know, okay, awesome, I'm gambling. It doesn't matter if I'm doing someone else's reading. If the Wheel of Fortune comes up, I'm going to gamble. Do my gambling. I'm all excited. I can feel the energy. I get some winnings. If that energy dissipates or I become bored, I stop right there. The Wheel of Fortune has moved on. So we can feel the flow. And whenever we live life in that flow, where it's just like swift, we're moving forward, there's not too many distractions, we got high energy, that's the power of the Wheel of Fortune. And that energy is around us every day. So the Wheel of Fortune is the power of optimism. If the Wheel of Fortune comes up, stay positive. Don't you dare make any decisions that are going to change your path. Hone that money wheel in. And it's one that teaches us how to receive the things that we really desire in our life. So seek the Wheel of Fortune whenever you're doing anything for yourself. Now, if the Wheel of Fortune comes up upside down, number one thing, sudden change. And it's going to be for a reason. So something changed it. Like, what was it? Do you know what I mean? So you always want to look, if the Wheel of Fortune is flipped, where is the trigger? What flipped that Wheel of Fortune? As soon as you see what flipped the fortune, you can take control of that, pull more cards to change it. Nothing's going to mess with my Wheel of Fortune. I'm flipping that thing back up. Okay. So Wheel of Fortune is like the key to everything. Justice, the one that we just dealt with and activated in our life. I love the Justice card. As soon as I see it, you know, most people say, oh, it's the law, it's the judge. It is, but the Justice card represents higher power as well. I'm a Libra, so justice to me is like my goddess. So whenever the Justice comes up, balance and higher power within that balance is in play. So there's a witness, and that angelic witness is trying to bring whatever it's seeing back into balance. It's also a breakthrough. So it's the end of conflict. Oh, I'm dealing with this. When will my debt be done? You can find the justice wherever the justice is the end of the conflict. And say it doesn't show up in your reading. Well, you can ask a question just with your deck of cards and say, I want to know when this debt is going to be paid off. And you can pull the cards, find the justice. And the card before and after represents the energy that will help you get rid of the debt. There's the energy that brought it on, that you've been working with. There's the end result of it. So the cards are really informative that way. So whenever the justice comes up, end of a conflict, harmony is involved. Even if it's a legal matter, whatever the outcome is, that's destined. So destined is there. If it's reversed, then there is not universal support in that outcome. So a lot of times, if someone's like, oh, I'm going to court, how's the outcome? And it shows reversed, there's some kind of disharmony there. So what's the deed? And pull more cards on it. But we don't always get what we want either. And maybe it is a karmic thing. So it means that some kind of disharmony went against the natural forces of whatever that situation is. The next card is the Hanged Man. And whenever the Hanged Man comes up, it's like we know it, but we can't act on it. And to me, it's like, oh, whenever I get that freaking Hanged Man, it's like, oh, I know it, but I can't say it, right? It's kind of like you got to let them learn their lesson. That comes up a lot for me and my husband. It's like, I can't tell him everything he's got to do and sound like a nag. So the Hanged Man is knowing that inner wisdom, that intuitive wisdom, but being patient. It also represents an inner process taking place. So there's personal sacrifice by not being able to say what you want or act when you want. You're just kind of holding space right now. And it does represent something happening inside spiritually. So there's enlightenment. That's what I like about the Hanged Man. Hanged Man also represents deja vu experiences. So whenever I see someone has the Hanged Man in their reading, I know first off that they probably just say, do you get a lot of deja vus? Is that something that you experience? And they'll be like, whoa, I actually do receive that. I do experience that. It means that they are on the right path. So whenever you see the Hanged Man, make sure you let them know. I just want to let you know you are on the right path. So it also represents being able to let them go. They need to let go. They are on the right path. There's enlightenment around you. You're going to know when you take action. The next card will let you know when and what type of action to take place. Now we're getting to the Death card. And the Death card in the old days, I was going to say ancient, but cards really aren't that ancient, I guess. But either way, the Death card used to be known as the card without a name. It never was called the Death card. The Death card is a modern thing. But whenever the Death card comes up, first thing, put in your head, renewal. Okay, so renewal, it represents a death and a rebirth. So something has been lost. Something has been released. Something's been let go. But you know, whenever the Death card comes up, it actually means that there is a critical change. And that critical change has to do with changing the current of one's life. It means destiny actually wants to change their current to bring them new growth because they need to shift off what is not good for them. And sometimes our path does need to be shifted. So it means, to me, the Death is a protective card. Of course, when it is reversed, we always want to look at why is it reversed? And, you know, sometimes it does represent death. You know, since I started doing readings, you don't know how many people have come to me and have wanted to know when they're going to go. And I hate it, but they have, and they do, especially when they know that they're there or close to it. And I don't like to manifest or speak that, but if someone's asking and wants to know and the Death card comes up, I will honor that. Okay. If they want to know and the Death card doesn't come up, then I'll tell them what they need, what they're still accomplishing in life. But if I get the Death card, then to me, it's like honor. So I will tell them, that you did receive the death card, and these are the cards that came with it, and I interpret the meaning. And I'll also let them know this is a time where you are most powerful to go. This is where it looks like it's going to happen. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, you can say, I'm sorry, I don't like to take a look at death, so I'm not going to answer that for you. Or you can say, I'm sorry, but I don't interpret death. Okay, so whatever you feel comfortable. When I first started out, I hated it. I was like, I did not want to do it. But once you experience people's story and what's happening to them, and some people do want to know, and they have the strength to know that, and the death card comes up, honor it. It's up to you. Temperance is something that comes up whenever a call for purity is in play. So if you take a look at the temperance card, they're balancing the cups, but yet the angel of temperance, where is my temperance? Has that triangle. Okay, there's the triangle, there's the key. Okay, so angel minding and using their vision, their third eye, their divinity to keep things balanced. So temperance is a call for purity. Something in the situation has the power of purity pouring within it to clarify or to cleanse or to rebalance. And whenever I do a reading for myself and a temperance comes up, it's telling me that my intuition, that I am at my highest psychic self. So you want to know how psychic you are? The temperance will be coming up. The more the temperance comes up for you through the year, the stronger your psychic ability is going to become. So if temperance shows up in the reading, major psychic ability. And it also represents, on a reversed position, seeking solitude. The devil. I love the devil when it comes up because it always, just the way people respond when they see it. I mean, you could just read that alone, okay? Because the devil represents temptation. So either the person you're doing the reading for is tempted and they're feeling all naughty. Usually they're tempted, they feel naughty just coming for the reading. So the devil comes up, you know? But the devil will come up when there's temptation around. And that doesn't always mean a temptation against you. It could be a temptation that is, scary to you. So it also represents a power. There is a divine power when the devil card comes up in the readings. And that is being able to either break obsession or break illusion. So a lot of times, if the devil comes up in my readings, I know that I need to take a look at my emotional tie to somebody around me. Okay, it could be my husband, it could be a family member, but whenever the devil comes up, there's some kind of emotional tie in place. And for a reason, usually it's because it's some kind of indifference. So devils represent illusion, and it also represents a sneakiness. So whenever the devil comes up, something is not right. That's the message of the devil. There's something that is going to be uncovered. It's not always in pertaining to your relationship, okay? But it will. If you are in an imbalanced state, if something's going on, the devil shows up, okay? So where is the devil in the reading? And what cards are above, below, and next? And when the devil shows up, the action of the devil is the card that is behind it. That's what brought the devil on. What card is before the devil? That's what created the illusion. Now we have the devil reversed, which represents obsession. And of course, anything else that we can get obsessed with. The Tower card is sudden catastrophe. If you take a look at the Tower card, this is one of my favorite cards. But the symbology in it is very confusing for a reason. So the crown of the tower represents our crown chakra. The tower represents our meridian. And the two people getting kicked out are the false people that should not be in our lives. So whenever the Tower card comes up, there's falseness that is no longer allowed to follow you into tomorrow, right? There's something that is not right. So whenever I get the Tower in a reading, I know that the divine is clearing out the path, getting rid of people who may have negative intentions around you, right? Maybe some people that are lying. Maybe you're getting cleaned from trauma. But in this reading, you'll see the power of lightning. See that lightning rod going right into that channel of who we are? Well, that lightning rod represents the power of God, of Odin, power of other worlds, and all of.
Like,
Oh, there she is. I can't hear you.
you're muted.
I see it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these represent the power of the gods, these little raining drops. So look for those in the other cards. Okay. Okay. So where are we at? That was the devil, the tower. Okay, I'm going to spill off 3 more and then we got to do a reading yet. Come on. What did I start? So now we're at the star. So remember when the tower comes up, false things, okay, are in play. The star is something that you want to watch for, okay, because whenever the star comes up, it means spiritual vision, okay, which means that the spirit has a vision for you, okay. So question comes up, then it represents independence, success, your potential finally coming out. Usually famous, like you're famous for something, you're meant to be known for something. So it's like your personal stardom, your personal freedom. And it represents your birth as well. So like your true self. So whenever that comes up, you have transformed, or your seeker has transformed to a place where they're now considered on a spiritual quest. They are a spiritual person. They're a mentor. They're a guide. They're a psychic. They should be living their life according to a spiritual lifestyle. So spiritual life and vision. And whenever the star comes up, I also know that the person I'm reading is spiritual and has abilities. So they should be providing guidance. So spiritual vision for the star. Now we're going to the moon, and the moon is intuition, but has to do with intuition when it comes to change in personality. So the moon comes up, there's a personality change. They're in a place of transformation. And this change is gradual. And this change has to do with their intuition. So it's a spiritual change. And it will change their personality. But The moon also represents hidden enemies. Okay, a moon comes up in a reading, someone's paying attention that shouldn't be, really. So there's hidden enemies. And if I find that the moon keeps coming up, then I make sure I do a smudge or I cleanse or banish or whatever. So it is something to let us know that we need to protect ourselves and what we're doing. I'm talking about it, my candle's like crackling like crazy. Like really crackling. So spiritual vision for the sun, gradual change in your intuition and characteristic and personality, as well as hidden enemies. And whenever you pull a card and you're asking about something, the moon also represents things that are hard to understand. Okay. So what is around the moon when it comes up? That's what they're trying to comprehend. And they are feeling like, or you or your seeker are feeling like you're in an incomprehensible area. So there's a force. 19, the sun, represents unification. So whenever the sun comes out in a reading, there's some kind of connection that's taking place with the spirit world, and it's to make life easier. So you get to feel like that young, free child on an easy ride. And I love it when it comes up. It's like, please stay forever. So the sun is also contentment. Whenever the sun comes into the reading, there is success all around you, especially in business. It also represents journeys. So whether that journey is going on vacation or heightened consciousness. Okay, so whenever the sun comes up, I know that person that I'm reading could actually find freedom in their life because it's right there wanting them. So sun represents freedom. And when it is reversed, no freedom. Freaking feels like bondage. You can never get out of it. It's like, when is it going to end? And of course, you pull 3 cards. When is it going to end? Okay, so make sure you don't accept negative things. They're coming up so you can change it, unless it is a major arcana that you have to turn around. Those are all lessons that we need to change something. The next one is judgment, and judgment actually represents rebirth. So when you take a look at the judgment card, you'll see the graves of people floating in the water. Okay, to me, that's the spirit world. The water represents the past, the spirit, the consciousness, and they're all calling for help. Save me. I'm stuck in this ocean, standing in my coffin. And there's judgment looking down, picking and choosing. And how do they pick and choose? Oh, you have to hear the horn. So this card is kind of based off of the biblical judgment day of being able to hear the trumpets. Okay. But before it became judgment, because it was another one that was Christianized and changed over time, the judgment card represents resurrection. So there's a rebirth, but this rebirth is taking place because of an important decision. So when the judgment comes up, an important decision is in place and an important change is in place. So decision and change, it also represents memories. So these decisions and these changes are going to trigger some kind of memory for you, but it's got to do with the resurrection of forgotten dreams or forgotten goals or goals that we didn't have faith in. So whenever judgment comes up, old parts of the personality are coming to the surface. And those are meant to bless you. If it's reversed, it's not. The world card, which is also known as the universe. So the world card is realization. It represents developed freedom, that you were able to create your own freedom in whatever situation that came. And it also represents the ability to become not just successful, but famous due to your creativity and how you walk with spirit. So when the world card comes up and it has anything to do with what you want, the universe is 100% behind you. And it also represents communication with the universe. So whenever the card comes up, I know that I can send out what I want to the universe. It's aware of my path. Whenever that card comes up in a reading, it's fully aware and supportive of who you are or who your client is, even if they're dealing with negative things. So it's an awesome card. The world card is one of the best cards to get in a reading. And then you jump back to the Fool. So the world card is also an ending, but it's always like, yes, the grand finale ending when the fireworks go off. So you'll have to listen to that again, and we're going to learn more and more, but it gets you started so you don't have to kind of wait. And those that have the journal, there's some reference stuff there. So I'll give you some more, but let's do a reading now. Oh, how will this month go? So now that we're all connected, this is going to pertain to all of us, okay, for this month. Until we meet again, give me the reading. Whoops, I dropped it. Page of Pentacles. Oh my God. Right after I popped that video up there. I don't know if I should start with all of that just because it came up, but let's do a reading on what we get. So unexpected, something with the Pentacles. Okay, I'll enter that into our reading. So let's see. So I'm just going to do this quickly, talk as fast as I can, and I'll do a layout. I'll take a picture of it too for the class so that you can use it as a reference. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I've been waiting for this. Let's see. What do we get? Are you ready? Here's our reading. Oh my God, are you kidding with me? First card, the Devil. Oh, I hate that. I'm just gonna put these cards out before that gets to me. Oh, so all of us, and you guys are probably like, nope, that's your devil. You can keep it. No, it's for all of us. Okay, I got them laid out. So here we go, 2022, this month. So the first thing that we have right now is the Devil card. And I feel like the reason why we have that is because we are only 10 days into this new year, and it hasn't been the way we expected. Like, I think that we are all experiencing something that we have to deal with, and It is kind of unexpected in all of our own ways. There's a question mark on it. But this lets me know that we are all fighting this energy as well, and that we can't fall into it. So because the devil card is showing up right now, it's just super important to stay present. We can't go too far ahead, and we can't fall into things that are weird or scary or negative. Just keep yourself in a neutral state, okay? And I see this as bounds and things still being released, okay? We're still in a receiving mode right now, but that is going to change. So this month is about seeking truth, seeking instructions on what we should be doing this year, that there is guidance for that. And it is important for us to hold on to where we want to go, okay? So don't break your dreams right now. The next card I have is the 10 of Pentacles. I love that. So we are all really meant to seek wealth, and not just this month, but for this year. And what I love is that this card signifies male spirit that is active around us, helping us and protecting us. And that the main influence of this month does have to do with attracting finances. It's also got to do with connecting to spirit still. So I know that some of you still have your connection to ancestors and spirits that's been coming forward, but you're really going to notice that that the spirit is still trying to get your attention through this month. And you are being put in a balanced state. All of us are. So February is going to make us feel way more balanced and excited about the year. As far as this month, finances, wealth, how you want to feel. Don't let yourself feel any restraint. The restraint is an illusion. You're not going to fall. Things are only going to get better for us this year. So because of the 10 of Pentacles, we're moving up. We're moving into a positive state. We're going from breaking the past illusions that have held us down to actually receiving support. And that support is universal. And the reason why I say that is because the very next card we have is the 4 of Cups. So I feel excited when I see this because I know many of us, especially, I know offhand, how many are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you online, and some of you not. But this lets me know that you have been answering your calls, okay? And that you have been putting yourself out there. And you are starting to recognize the positivity that you will receive from putting yourself out there. And you know, this to me lets me know that when you put yourself out there, one of the first things, especially as a reader, one of the first things that will try to cross your path to break it is a religious person. And I have seen that with many of you already this year. So you put yourself out there, you're going to do tarot, someone's going to mention Jesus. Okay, it's like a universal law. Okay, good thing some of this stuff just stays in our class, right? This is not something I should put on YouTube. But that's usually what it means. So that's also why the devil comes up. So some of you might have, you know, that religious eye on you. A lot of us may be experiencing family stuff, financial stuff, you know, but we don't need to fall into it. And because the 4 of Cups comes up, it lets me know that we are all meant to experience good news. And the fact that the universe is going to bring people to you that you do have messages to give to people, just like you have messages to receive. So do the people who are meant to connect with you. So the environment for us that surrounds us all month has to do with taking advice and taking the ideas that Spirit is giving us. Because it's a 4 of Cups, it does represent trying again, like putting ourselves out there. So put yourself out there once a week, keep it fresh, keep posting something, and you're going to see that you'll start getting busier and busier, because the next card is the Knight of Pentacles. So remember, finances, but male. So male energy, if some dude says, hey, I really want to get a reading, you can't say no. Okay. But it doesn't mean, he wants a relationship. I have lots of clients that are dudes. It's no big deal. Okay. But I know that can be scary, but it does show financially, we're all being connected to a male energy that is going to move us forward. So what is it? Who is it? What crosses your path? It's going to cross our path. It's right now. This is happening. That's going to help us move into receiving that feeling of wealth and security. This also, oh my God, look at this, our past. Okay, so this is what came before the devil. Look at that. What came before the devil? This. So already I've only flipped 5 cards and we have 2 4s. So here we are, double power. Anytime you have 2 of something, it means double that power. And because we have the 4 of Swords in the past, we all got a break. We all got some kind of rest from difficulties, except for the fact that they're not over. And that's why the Devil card comes in. So we're still dealing with things, even though it's a new year, that need to come to an end. So double power, getting rid of our problem, is only by listening to the guidance around us. So again, instructions, and that's what we're being prepared for this month. So what ideas are coming into play? What vision? What do you need to do? We are our own story right now. Each one of us has something we're dealing with that is part of our story that we are overcoming. Have faith in that. Okay. So because the other thing is because we have 2 4s, that lets me know that 2 4s, so the Emperor is automatically in play. There's the divine power. Even though we don't have an Emperor card, we have 2 4s. So that means that we can now connect to the order we need in our life. Okay? That we can be active and ambitious, and that what we want will help us. So double 4s would be Emperor, double 2s, High Priestess. Remember, you learned that all of the 4s, you master those 4s, you gain the power of the Emperor. So that is one little key I like to learn and teach you. The next card we have is the 7 of Swords, and this is above us. So the message from our higher self, the spirits involved. Again, it shows male. So we all have a male energy and spirit guiding us right now, which, I mean, earth element is in play. So it does kind of make sense for the timing. But the 7 of Wands represents us keeping going, Don't quit anything. Stay ambitious. Things are going to get easier and lighter. But it does represent being dedicated every day. Pull a card every day for a week and see what comes up. Okay, so that shows dedication and growth. So we're moving forward, nothing blocking. Oh my God, until I see this, the 8 of Swords. So there is, okay. So we have to break something that we are self-sabotaging ourselves with. And this is coming in not this week, not next week, but the 3rd week from now. So let me see when that is. I gotta look at my calendar here on my computer. So we're talking on the 25th. So the last week of January, something is going to make us not want to act on something. We don't feel like doing something. We may even self-sabotage or ignore it. But swords are coming in strong, and it's important that we don't do that. We're being warned. Don't fall into something. Don't self-sabotage or block yourself or refuse. You're not allowed to refuse something. Okay, keep yourself open. I wonder what that's going to be for me. If we do, the outcome is the 3 of Cups. So celebration. So there is a celebration with doing it. No. And that situation will have 3 blessings to be received if we can keep ourselves open and not close off to whatever it is. The only reason why we don't like it is because it's a sword and it's something that we have to figure out mentally or deal with, and it's probably not our own thing. The next thing we receive is an ace card. So this month we receive a blessing, Cups. This is a miracle. It's good news. It feels like now the year is going on. So we all have good news coming our way, blessings. And this is when we actually feel like we're in our flow. Like we can experience an awesome few weeks there. It isn't emotionally stressful. We got the Queen of Cups next. So 3 cups in a row. Now the Queen of Cups means we mastered our emotions. So we did pass that test with the 8 of Swords. There's the other blessing, right? We're mastering our emotions and how we feel. And we were able to actually follow our intuition and spirit with whatever it is that triggered us mentally. So this month is about mastering how we feel and how we want to feel. Because the Queen of Cups comes up, we are all in a place of healing. So each one of us has to focus on what it is we need to heal. It might be emotional, it might be physical, mental. We're all in a healing situation right now. So our goal by this time next month is to break whatever needs healing. Okay. And the money, we can't forget about that. This time next year, look at this, or next month, we got the Queen of Pentacles. So we're called upon to master our emotions this month, but as well as our money. And because we have the 2 queens, that's double power, right? So how amazing is that? When the 2 queens come up in a reading, then it represents being able to find harmony within ourselves and our world, and the universe. So we're financially like, yeah, I'm doing what I'm meant to. It's working. Money's coming in. Success. I feel strong. it also represents how we physically feel about our physical body. So that shows that our healing has been mastered. Okay. So Queen of Pentacles comes up this time next month. So we're all receiving money. And the last card, an extra one flipped out, Judgment, which we just talked about, right? So for us, we will get our reward. Okay, this month, Judgment means we're going to get our reward. Everything that caused us trouble is going to disappear, and that we don't have to worry about our everyday life. Okay, we're actually going to feel like our everyday life isn't so difficult. That it's like lightening up and we're carrying on and in that flow. And that it also means whenever the outcome for the judgment comes up, that we will need to be given to our higher power. So it's important for us to keep connecting to our intuition, to give ourselves it. Let yourself say, this month, when I practice my cards, I'm going to open myself to my higher self and let it guide me. And it's like, how do you do that? One way, you can shuffle your cards and flip until you see the High Priestess. The High Priestess comes up, put your cards back together, shuffle, and ask your question. What I like to do is when I go into a reading, and my clients don't know this, but while I'm shuffling the cards or while they're shuffling the cards, I call myself and I say my name 3 times internally. I say, Georgina, Georgina, Georgina. And I call my higher self into my being. And you know, when you're healing yourself, I will say to myself, heal, Georgina, heal your body. I need to heal. I heal myself. I am healed. So you need to talk to yourself in a way where you're talking to your higher self, that spiritual self. And in the occult, and this isn't a witchcraft class, but we have magical names. And we use those magical names to call our magical self, our spiritual self, into our being. And when I do readings for people, I usually have them say their name 3 times. Because as they say their name and I listen, I can feel where it hits me. So if I say you're doing my reading, you're shuffling my cards, before I spread them out, I always say to my client, say your name 3 times. Georgina, Georgina, Georgina. And you sense, could you feel me say my name? Well, there I am in that higher self right away because I felt them. So it happens like that. The other way is look at your hands from a distance. Okay. And if you look at your hands from a distance, you can tell that you are ready to do a reading because one hand will look lighter than the other. So look at your hands right now and let me know, does one hand have a different color than the other? And if they don't, shuffle your cards and play, but they will. One hand will look bigger or a different color. One hand might look older. Just look at your hands. And that is a simple trick. So I'm going to let you go. If you have anything to ask, does it mean, what does it look like? Does it, what? You mean they look different?
Like, does a certain color on the hand mean anything specific? Like if you see one hand, like if you see your left hand lighter than your right hand,
So which
does it
hand do
mean
you pull
you're,
your cards on? Because it represents where the spirit is active. So like for me, if I do my talking boards, I can tell which hand is my spirited hand and I'll use it, right? Like my hand will look creepy. So if it's a darker hand, there's your spirit hand. Which hand is more darker or a different color? See, mine kind of looks blue. I'm a little worried about that. Okay, but if your hand actually has a little bit of a different color, and you might not notice it right now while I'm talking, but when you're practicing your cards, next time before you spread your cards out to pick them, put your hands down in front of you, look at them from a distance, even while they're laying on the table. If you see a little bit of a change from the two, then you know you're ready to go. Okay. And you might think it's crazy, but I have videos of my hands going like totally creepy, especially after a couple hours on a seance board. And it's like the lock up. It can be creepy. So if you do cards, you'll also get tarot card muscles. Like you should see my tarot card flipping muscles. They're nuts. So you'll get some physical stuff from it, but it's all good. So those are some ways to just get yourself into that higher place. Okay. So this month, I'm going to post a reading. I wanted to post it right away, but I couldn't get it up. My camera's messed up. And it is a reading on how to make your wish come true. So if you really want something, you can do a reading. If you have a client and they say, I would like to know about this, this is the perfect layout to use on it. The other thing is I would like to do in 2 weeks, I'm going to post where I want you to just do major arcana readings. That means I want you to take out all your minors. When I started working for Planet Love, which was Vancouver's singles night, and I was their psychic, I would only use major arcana readings because I didn't want to know all the day-to-day details. And I want you to practice doing readings with the powers of the universe and destiny. So I'm going to, in 2 weeks, so when we get to, or 2 weeks from now, the 25th, I'm going to post something up to trigger that. Okay, and we'll practice those. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm sorry I kept you way over, but enjoy your readings this month and listen to this again. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye and many blessings.
Bye.
Bye. Start
Bye.
making some cash doing this. Bye-bye.